Hello everybody, and welcome to episode 18 of Let's Kung Fu. Go ahead and jump over and let you all see my pretty face as usual. I know how much you enjoy it. So, got some stuff to talk about tonight. First, and I think most importantly, I am no longer in Platinum League. That's right, after basically 2 years, it was probably slightly less than that, but definitely since Season 1, I have been a Platinum League StarCraft 2 player, much to my shame and humiliation and embarrassment, especially since all my friends are like Diamond and Master and High Master and all that fun stuff. Um, so tonight we're actually going to talk about that a little bit, and we're going to talk about why I was stuck in Platinum, why I was stuck there for as long as I was, and what I did that finally allowed me to bust out. Um, However, I'm having a glitch at the moment, so if you'll excuse me, I will be. Well, that was certainly exciting. I will be right back with you all in just a moment. Got a phone call from my wife, so I was worried that something might be wrong. So let's bring us back to me. There we go. I can continue our lovely chat. Um, so yeah, we're going to spend some time tonight talking about um, me, and honestly how it may or may not pertain to you, my wonderful viewers. I actually made a blog post about this on Team Liquid that you are all welcome to read, but I might go into more detail here on the show. I don't know. We will also watch the game that got me promoted, uh, because it's my show, and by God, I want to brag that I'm finally Diamond. And let me think, is there anything else cool and exciting going on? Oh, MLG. MLG Raleigh, the Summer Championship, is coming up, and I know you've all been waiting with bated breath for the announcement. Yes, I can confirm that I will be there, competing in the open bracket once again. I am hopeful, now that I'm, big shot diamond player here. I will be able to just face stomp all those Grandmaster players that I'm sure to be put up against. Yeah, I'm just gonna stick with that. Let me have my fantasy. Um, so yeah, that's pretty much what we've got for you tonight. I probably won't talk anymore about MLG because there's not a whole lot of point, at least until it gets closer. But we do have lots of StarCraft stuff to talk about. First off, I'm going to show you, so you can all see that I'm not just making it up. Do lots of alt tabbing. Yeah, there you go. You can see, look, I really, truly did get promoted to Diamond. Finally. Now, yes, you are correct. This is on my Smurf account. But so what? My main is not Diamond yet. I'm working on it. So that's actually kind of funny, too. Now that I've gotten this guy up to Diamond, I'm going to hopefully switch back to the character looking at me again. So basically, now that I've gotten this character to Diamond and I've started playing on my main, it is staggering how easy it is. So my main account, I haven't really been playing pretty much at all. I did my placement match, and I think I've won 2 other games in the season. So when I got promoted yesterday, I had like 59 points in the ladder on my main account. And I was playing last night, and I got promoted on my Smurf, so I switched back to my main. I'm like, okay, cool, Diamond, time to get my main caught up. And as of right now, I think I've got like 640 points. So small increase, like nearly 600 points in a day. Obviously a lot of that was bonus pool, but a lot of that's the fact that I'm just face stomping basically everybody. I'm gonna kind of explain a little bit what happened there, what changed. But first, I want to watch my game, so you can all marvel at how amazing I am. So, here we go. This is my opponent, Alcibiades. I have no idea how to pronounce it, but it's a fucking awesome name. You get mad props, which you'll see I actually give him here. Let's just go ahead and get started. I am going to ×2 at least some of this, just for the interest of time, because I have a lot of stuff to talk about, and I want to make sure that all you fine folks have plenty of time to hear it, and I still want to play some tonight after the show on my main. I really want to try to get that promotion. See, look, I wasn't lying. I did compliment him on his really awesome name. We have a somewhat of an entertaining discussion here. He doesn't like being smurfed, to which I reply, it's a reverse smurf, which is true. It's very unusual. Now, yeah, it's fitting that I'm blue, since I'm a smurf. Haha. We are funny nerds. I'm not actually sure which build I did here. If I did a Korean 4-gate or not. I probably did not. I probably did a 1-gate expand, which would seem like the thing to do. 1-gate, the 1-gate expand is pretty much my standard in PvT. Though actually no, I did not 1-gate expand. Why didn't I 1-gate expand? Oh no, I did. Alright. For a minute I thought I built a 2nd gateway, and I was going to be really confused because I don't ever do that against Terran. So yeah, 1-gate expand, all the way. Did let myself get a little supply block. A little bit sloppy on my part. And our Terran buddy isn't doing anything really out of the ordinary. I'd say he's getting ready to take an expansion, which is fine. So am I. I am doing the expand after core. I used to just literally go 1-gate into my expansion. This has proven much safer because I can get that early sentry out and get some good defense going on. We can see we both are getting our expansions down pretty much the same time. He's going to have to float his, so that'll actually give me a tiny little advantage. But I mean, aside from that, he's building his bunker, getting all safe and secure. I'm dropping my 2nd gateway. I'll follow this up with a Robo and Forge. I always follow it up with a Robo and a Forge. It's just the smart thing to do. So this is another thing that I've recently changed in my playstyle. I used to go gate, Forge, Robo to get my +1 armor up faster, but I've switched that off for getting the Robo before the Forge, pretty much purely for pretty much purely for the early observer. I want to, make sure there aren't any stupid cloaked banshees coming to harass me and make me cry. I hate banshees. I hate them so much. But this is actually kind of killing him here, turning it into an orbital and all that. I probably would have floated it down first, because I'm getting some playing time. Though, look at this. Oh, this was painful. I didn't rally. Ugh. Ugh. Thankfully, I noticed that I have idle workers. See, I've got 2 stalkers and a sentry. I'm honestly pretty darn safe from anything he could throw at me right now. I could always retreat up my ramp if necessary, and work gate is finished. So I can work in units as needed, dropping down my 3rd gate. That forge is done. Chrono boosting out my +1 armor. Here comes my observer. Right now, I am just sitting pretty. That isn't to say that he isn't going to pull off some shenanigans here in a little bit, but I can cope with it pretty well. See, I finally fixed my rally point. Observer's done. Bam! Bust out the Immortal. In case he is 1-1-1ing me, the Immortal's really good against tanks. He's my friend. Again, that's also why I've got these early stalkers. And sentries are just never a bad idea. I used to actually favor Zealots really heavily. In the early game, I've mostly stopped that. Oh god, that's right, I forgot he was doing this. This is kind of a weird game. I'll be honest. So if you notice up here in the production tab, he is getting Thors. He's actually going to get quite a few Thors. They're going to cause me a little bit of problems. Basically, as soon as I get out my first Immortal, I throw down my Robo Bay, so I can start getting Colossus. I'll probably build another Immortal here in a second since I can afford it. Maybe. Come on. Build that Immortal. Got gas. Build that Immortal. Maybe I don't. I usually. There we go. I was gonna say, I usually get a second Immortal while I'm waiting for my Robo Bay to finish. I should be building another gateway, but not yet because I'm bad. My +1 armor is about to be done. Good. I'm gonna start my Colossus before I get my +1 attack. That's alright, I'll get my +1 attack in a minute. I think. Maybe. What am I doing? I haven't seen the story yet. I still have no idea that Thors are coming out. Still haven't started +1. Oh my god, what am I doing? There's +1. Man, sometimes I am slow. I mean, see, this is a really interesting play. Thankfully, I do see it now. And I actually just decided that I'm going to engage this. So I'm chrono boosting out my Colossus, I believe. Yes, I'm chrono boosting out my +1. I have not gotten range, but for the purpose of this, I don't care. I'm just going to go and try to kill this before he reaches any sort of critical mass. Eventually. Swear I did this a little bit faster. I think he's going to poke and harass me with the Banshee a little bit. It's not super effective. He doesn't have a cloak or anything like that, so it's not really a big deal. There we go, I'm pushing out. There we go, I'm finally getting my extended thermal lance. Stalkers, why do you always run so far ahead? I mean, you can see at this point, he's got a lot of stuff. My Guardian Shield is entirely too early, and letting my Stalkers basically just die for nothing. You can see I pick off 2 of his Thors. I'm going to run away. Try to keep my Colossus alive. That other Banshee does come up to join the fun, which is super annoying. I don't think he gets anything though. Yeah. And so I get out of there with Colossus and 2 Immortals. I feel like, yeah, no, he won that engagement. Oh well. But I took out 2 Thors, so I was happy. Throwing down additional gateways, because that seems like the thing to do. My range is in production. Got 2 Colossus now. I'm going to take my 3rd. I actually honestly thought he had taken his 3rd by now. So watching the replay, I'm happy to see that I was mistaken. And that he just continued to let me park my observer there. A scan would have really helped him. Working on lots of stalkers to deal with the banshees. Getting my Twilight Council so that I can get more upgrades. So upgrades are good. I mean, you know, we're seeing pretty standard stuff. He's getting upgrades. I'm actually getting my shield upgrades. Just because I, at this point, have realized that he's not building ghosts. And so shield upgrades are useful. Again, this is pretty bio-heavy now. He's back up to 3 Thors, but I've got 3 Colossus and 2 Immortals. And, okay, his 4th Thor's out, but so is my 4th Colossus. He can repair, but he didn't send a whole lot of SCVs with him, and this was not ideal for him. He really needed to send the rest of his army. Another one of his Thors finished, but again, you know, since I've got my observers out and I see his army coming, I can engage really well. Check this out. High ground here. I'm gonna focus fire down the Banshee. Bam! I'm maintaining the high ground advantage, and at this point, I am shredding his army. He's not touching any of my Colossus until just now. Look at that. Oh, that was so good. So good. I did lose all my stalkers, which sucked. So I'm gonna run away. It's gonna get a few Colossus. But I really destroyed him right there. You know, I still have 4 Colossus. He's down to 1 Thor. I've still got an Immortal. My 3rd's up and running. So Leg Speed's about to finish. The shield upgrade's about to finish. I feel like it was probably a mistake for him to stay so Banshee heavy, since my Stalkers dealt with him so well. But, you know, whatever. At this point, I basically just decided that I could probably just win. And I was stupid again and let my Stalkers get way too far out from the rest of my army, but it doesn't really matter. I'm going to focus fire down the Banshee, my Stalkers, I get better about that, and I just tear through all of this. There's not a lot to do about it. He's got no army. And that's the game. So we'll jump back to me. Hopefully, maybe. Yes. I will say transitions are working better. Makes me very happy. So yeah. That was the game that got me promoted to Diamond. You know, not to brag, that was pretty awesome. No, not really. Obviously, there were a lot of mistakes. You know, I misrallied things a lot. I could have microed stuff better. I got kind of lucky on scouting. He never scanned all game, and so I just got to pretty much do what I wanted with that observer. Which actually leads me into what I really wanted to talk about tonight. Like I said, I was platinum for a really, really, really long time. Far longer than is good or reasonable or appropriate. I'm even going to pull up my Team Liquid post here so that I can make sure that I don't miss anything that I want to talk about. So, why was I stuck in platinum for basically 2 years? One of the big ones was what's called ladder anxiety. I got my character to platinum in Season 1, And I was really proud about this, and I wanted to get promoted, but what happened a lot as I played was I would go up and down and swing a lot, and I even dropped that back to gold a couple of times, and would always manage to get myself back up. It was really hanging on that balance, and I did not want to get demoted back to gold. I really wanted to, at the very least, stay platinum. So that made me really risk averse. I didn't want to play ladder games very much because I was worried that I was going to lose and get demoted. And when I did play, I didn't want to try new builds because I wanted to make sure that I would win. So I would keep using the same builds that I'd been using over and over and over again, even when they weren't really working anymore. Because they were at least good enough to keep me where I was. So that was a really big problem. Another problem was that I thought that I knew better than Team Liquid. I know, was very arrogant and foolhardy of me, but honestly, it's true. I thought I knew better than everyone that played StarCraft. So, what do I mean? I refused to forgate, ever. I wouldn't do it. I would not forgate. I never learned how to forgate until relatively recently. And that left a giant gaping hole in my gameplay. Because basically it meant that I was going to lose to forgates all the time, and I had no idea how to do it. Like, you know, if I was playing somebody on Tall Dream Ultra, where you're guaranteed to get forgated if it's a PvP, there was nothing I could do. You know, you can't hold a forgate very well on that map if you're not also forgating. But, you know, I was really convinced that I was never going to get better if I forgated people, because, oh, that's a cheesy build. That was stupid. I mean, it was completely idiotic, and I apologize to all of the smarter than me people out there. Because, yeah, that actually held me back a lot. I mean, it basically guaranteed that my win rate in PvP for a really, really long time might as well have just been 0. Thankfully, my win rate in PvZ was really, really high. It was almost 100%, and my win rate in PvT was somewhere in the middle. So, again, I was, maintaining, but I would, my play was very, very streaky, and limited. I looked at all of these other builds that the pros were doing that were in the strategy forums, and I said, they're too hard, they're too complicated, if I tried them I will lose, and so I just didn't try them. That's obviously not good. I was just basically making up my own builds and my own strategies, and at the lower levels you don't know the game well enough to do that. You aren't taking the metagame into consideration, which honestly you have to do on the ladder. You're being dumb. Again, I'm gonna keep calling myself an idiot repeatedly throughout this. But yeah, I ignored things. I had a good build against Zerg, and that's it. Like, I had this 2 immortal push that I used to do in PvT that worked for a while, but then everyone else figured it out, and I was still stuck doing it, and just, I would occasionally get lucky, but wouldn't really work. In PvP, I just had no idea what the hell to do. Don't get in that position. So that hurt me a lot. Let me see, what else did I say? Blah, 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 forget. Yeah. So, I mean, that's pretty much what was wrong. Also, like, I didn't really have practice partners or anything, so ladder was all I had, because I don't know if you've tried playing against the AI for practice, but it sucks. I don't like playing against computer. I haven't changed that, though. I still don't have a practice partner. I still practice on the ladder. But, what did I do? What did I change so that I honestly, in a fairly short amount of time, turned around my gameplay pretty substantially. Um, there were a couple of things. The first thing, as you guys all know, is I got a Smurf account. Oh my god, did that ever help? Because ladder anxiety was just gone. I had an account where I literally didn't care what rank it was. I don't care what league it was in. I purposely got him demoted a couple of months back just to practice something. Um, you know, whatever. Who cares? It's awesome. A lot of people say that, oh, you're platinum, you don't need a Smurf account. You're not good enough to have a Smurf account. They're full of crap. Don't listen to them. Um, if you have the money and can get a second account to just screw around on and practice builds on and not care about, it's going to make the game so much more fun, and you're going to want to play a lot more, and you will play a lot more, and, practice makes perfect, and that will help you get better. Especially if you're like me and you practice on the ladder, this is an account you can do it with. The other thing that happened was, I know I've talked about it in the past, and I've shown you guys several replays of mine about it, was the Filter StarCraft Filter SC Bronze to Masters series, which I used in conjunction with my Smurf account. That was that demotion to Bronze that I was talking about. It's not about Protoss. He's supposedly going to do a series of Protoss videos, but he hasn't yet. He's done Terran and Zerg so far. That's a great way to use the Smurf account. Get yourself demoted and do nothing but focus on your macro. Macro is so important in this game. It's like, I thought my macro was pretty good before. It wasn't. My macro was shit. I just didn't know better until I had benchmarks to try to mark myself up against and compete against. So, huge props to Filter. Thank you. You are one of the people I will say is directly responsible for the rapid, massive improvements in my personal gameplay. And from everything I can tell, in the improvements to gameplay of many, many, many other people. So, big props to you. What else? Obviously, I learned to forgate. So this was kind of weird. I learned to do kind of a normal forgate, with Loth, where you get the 6 Stalkers and the 1 Zealot, and that's right. And you can, 2-shot other Stalkers with that combination, and, it hits at 6 minutes and 15 seconds, 6 minutes, 10 seconds, something like that. It's pretty good. You can win a lot with that. That started sending me on the right track. I was no longer pretty much guaranteed to lose PvP, which I was before. After that, actually just last week, I guess probably last week, I learned the Korean forgate. Holy cow, that build is effective. You can just face stomp, especially in Platinum and Diamond League. Oh my god, you can just murder people doing the Korean forgate build, if you do it at all well. I mean, your attacks are hitting at 5 minutes and 30 seconds. They have no army to deal with that. One of my buddies, Tristan Mantra, has a slightly tweaked version where it hits a little bit sooner. He can usually hit at 520, which is just frightening. I haven't played with that yet. But, all of a sudden, bam, I went from, a 0% win rate in PvP to maybe a 50% win rate in PvP to now I'm, if I'm Korean forgating, I've probably got a 90% win rate in PvP. I'm not saying forgate all the time. I'm just saying it's a skill set that you need to have if you're going to try to play competitively, if you're going to try to do well on the ladder. You need to know how it works, you need to know how to execute it, and you need to be willing to do so from time to time. Still, learn macro games in PvP. Colossus battles are important and all that, because it's not always going to work. But definitely learn how to do it. It's too valuable to leave on the table. You know, I learned how to forge fast expand against Zerg. More specifically, the Sky Toss build, which I've also shown you guys, but really all forge fast expand builds. You know, I had a Zerg build with a really high win rate, but it was cheesy all in, and you know, it worked a lot, but it was entirely dependent on the other person making bad decisions. Thankfully, other people frequently make bad decisions, but you don't want to be dependent on something like that. So, you know, learning builds against every race is important. So, you know, against Terran, I learned to, you know, gate core expand, gate gas core expand. Super, super valuable. I was petrified of early expand builds and one gate expand builds because they felt so vulnerable to me. And you know, you watch Dayline and all that, and they say, oh, you know, this is perfectly safe, this is perfectly safe, this is perfectly safe, but it doesn't feel that way. But you know, again, I had a Smurf account. I could try these things out, and I discovered, hey, you know what, this really is safe, this really is something I can do. And now all of a sudden, I don't just have a build that I can use against Zerg, and I'm kind of winging it against everyone else. I now have a pretty solid build I can use against every race. And I'm not saying you need to go out and you need to learn a build for every race. I'm saying go out and learn a build for a race, and then learn a build for another race, and then learn a build for the other race. And you're going to slowly put together all of the pieces to the puzzle that will help you start getting ahead. Excuse me a second. Gotta take a drink of the old water here. Been talking for a little while. It's a little hot in here too. But yeah, other things to keep in mind. Actions per minute, not important. Doesn't matter. I'm still sitting at like 50. I mean, some games I've got like 30. At my best, I've got like 60 in my good games. Now, yeah, okay, I can peak reasonably high. I peak at like 170, 180, 200. But that's not, you know, my average actions per minute throughout the course of the game. My average is in that 30 to 60 range, usually 40, 50. So that's honestly, if you have a solid build and a good macro, your APMs just doesn't matter that much. As long as you get to a middling range like where I'm at, you'll be totally, totally, totally fine. Yeah. I think that's pretty much everything I've got to talk about with you guys tonight. Trying to think if I'm leaving anything out. You can definitely go to Team Liquid and check out my blog posts if you want to reread any of it and make sure that I didn't leave anything out. But I'm pretty sure I covered all my bases, mostly because I was looking at it. Yeah, that's pretty much it for tonight, guys. If you have feedback at letskungfu.com, please send it to me. Follow me on Twitter at letskungfu.tv. Like us on Facebook, which I think is also Let's Kung Fu. It's actually just Let's Kung Fu. Like my page on Facebook. Pretty please. You know, watch our videos in the archives, blip.tv/filthyrake. Maybe it's Filthy Rake TV. Let's see. Yeah, blip.tv/Filthy Rake TV. I should probably change that at some point to be Let's Kung Fu. But, you know, whatever. I'm kind of lazy. So yeah, I appreciate any feedback, any comments, any concerns. I'm gonna go so I can start practicing, get my main promoted to Diamond, and get ready for MLG Raleigh coming up in just like 3 weeks. Craziness. Alright guys, thanks for watching.